finally, part three. So, if you haven't seen the other two parts of this, I would recommend to go watch them if you feel like it. Just give me some of that sweet, sweet ad revenue. Yeah, there'll be links to those in the description, and at the very end, in the end screen, there'll be links to them if you would like to go see them. And if not, that's totally cool. Just I hope you enjoyed this one. But I need to just throw this in there real quick. Don't give me links asking me to redesign your character. These requests are not open. This is the final one I'm doing right now. I might do more requests in the future, possibly, but right now I just do not have the time for it. So do not send me links with your character reference asking me to redesign your character, because I will not. It will be ignored. So just so you know. Anyway, let's get right into this. So this first lovely, lovely victim that was given to me was sent from Hikayan? I think it's Hikayan. I'm pretty sure. I'm probably saying it wrong, honestly. But this first one was given to me by Hikayan. And this one was I was given a lot. It had a lot of potential, I would say. It probably was drawn on a base. I'm not quite sure, but just looking at it, it seems like it was done on a base. But the first things I wanted to tackle when I looked at it, like the three things I thought were the biggest, was it needed some big color adjustment with the grays and the red. The red was too saturated, and the gray was just too stark of a gray, and it just didn't look right on the picture, you know? If you know me, I like tinting. When it comes to grays and blacks and whites, I like having some kind of tint to them because I feel like it just brings a design together better, and I believe that it works better when you're trying to shade a picture and stuff like that. Just a personal thing, and I think there are exceptions to this, but I typically don't like working with like straight blacks, straight whites, and straight grays. So I wanted to add that a little bit to here and make it more cohesive. And then I just wanted to simply make some tweaks to her outfit so it just made a little bit more sense, and it had a more of a better, like, a more fitting aesthetic to the character, because the outfit she had on right now, I couldn't quite tell what she was supposed to be. The ribbons were kind of in random places. The pants looked like, like yoga pants or something. I'm not quite sure. So I just wanted to tweak with that and add something that looked a bit more cohesive. So one of the first things I did when I was actually drawing it was I adjusted where the bow placement was. I added one. They just put them in places that made more fashionable sense, I suppose. I put it around like her neck, and I put it tying her hair back. That was another thing I did, was I wanted to make her hairstyle a little less generic, so I went with this sort of tied back kind of ponytail thing rather than having it be generic anime hair number 27, you know? And then I just had some fun with the colors. For the grays, I wanted her pants and hair/tail to actually be a different color than each other, because I felt like it being the same color was a little bit odd, you know? It's just too much of the same kind of gray. So and her tail and ears were also actually black rather than gray. So I decided it might be a nice touch to, rather than having it be so different, to actually put a little bit of a fade in her hair to sort of make it look a little bit more natural and look more like they belong on the same character, you know? Mixing it together better. But I think she ended up being very pretty, and I think the character from the very start had a decent amount of potential, so I had a lot of fun with it. This next one was once again a My Little Pony character, as I've done before, and it was given to me by Eleanor Ray, I believe is how you say it. It's either Eleanor, but there's like an I in there, so I think it's Eleanor. I apologize for pronouncing that wrong. So this one was fun because I'm not a brony, I should say. I'm anything but a brony, but ponies can be fun to draw sometimes, just because they're very stylized and very expressive typically, and just their limbs can be fun to draw, all that stuff. And this reminded me of stuff I saw around the internet whenever like animatronic ponies were a thing. Like Five Nights at Freddy's and My Little Pony were big, so people were mashing the two together, of course. So I thought this one would be a very interesting challenge. Again, I like trying to keep as many elements of the main design in while making it better to look at, as good as possible, without, because I don't like the idea of quote redesigning something but you entirely change everything about the character to where you can't even tell it's a redesign kind of thing, you know? That's just how I personally feel. So that was my challenge. So I decided to just make her a basic like robot pony thing, you know, because I do really like robots aesthetically. I like the sort of dull part kind of thing robots can have and stuff like that. So I really played around with that here and I had a lot of fun with it. I wanted to keep all the basic colors in. I just did some tweaking so they could look a little bit better. Kind of got a lot of leeway when you work with a traditional reference, because the colors could, for the most part, kind of be anything, or you at the very least have a wider range of colors to work with in a sense, because can't just color pick it very easily, is what I'm saying. I've said enough of that. The wings I wanted, because I couldn't quite tell what the wings in the original were supposed to be. Like if they were supposed to be individual spikes or if they were supposed to be like crystals or whatever they were. So I decided I'd have the wings kind of correspond with the hair a little bit, just in color. And I thought it would be kind of cool to give the wings and the tail this little flair of almost looking like holograms kind of thing, like they'd fly in some different kind of fashion and the wings were just there to be almost aesthetic sort of thing, you know, just make it look more technological, I guess is what I'm getting at here. And I decided to have those colors match with the hair so they pop a little bit more and they look a lot less muddy and a lot more clean and sharp now. I also did, because I know ponies do have cutie marks and stuff like that, I decided to give her like a little power button where her cutie mark would be, just because I felt like it would be fitting if there was a robot pony in My Little Pony. Maybe there is one, I don't know, I don't watch the show. And then other than that, it was just a lot of playing around with colors, because the purple, blue, and pink do work together. It was just a matter of making them all the right kind of colors to where they worked with the teal. And then even then with the teal, I wanted to add some variation so it wasn't just one blank solid color all the way through. So I played around with that, you know, making the joints different colors and all that sort of stuff, just because I think it makes the design have more depth and just be a little bit more interesting, you know, just have the little bit of color variety here and there. This next one was given to me by my good buddy Garbage Deity. You can find her on DA. And this one was definitely an interesting one, because already the colors I could tell were going to be hard to work with, because they aren't exactly colors that naturally look very pleasant together. I mean, you got bright neon green, dark red, and then black. So this was an interesting one, and I felt like it would be a fun challenge. So the elements I wanted to keep was, I wanted the basic idea of the hair to be kept, but I just wanted it to make a little bit more sense throughout. You know, in terms of like in the actual picture, it's just a little bit crazy, and I wanted the hair dye of it to actually make a little bit more sense, you know, be a bit more cohesive. And then I definitely wanted to keep the idea of her dress intact, but make her dress make a little bit more sense, you know, because looking at it, I couldn't quite tell what was going on. In general, I wanted to try and keep as much as the colors as I could, like in spirit, you know. So what I ended up doing was I changed up her hairstyle to where she doesn't have the buns anymore, but she has a long ponytail that has kind of the sharp cut edges, as well as having shorter hair in the front to emulate what's actually on her picture. So like on her picture, she has long pigtails and shorter hair in the back. So I tried to keep those themes in, but give her a more mature hairstyle with only having a ponytail. And I wanted some of the sharpness in there, because I do actually like that sort of sharp, clean-cut hairstyle kind of thing. And for her, it did feel fitting to have the shorter hair with the longer hair, because I was trying to keep as much of the original design as possible. That's why I also gave her some kind of bang and stuff like that. So there's kind of 3 levels of hair going on. For her actual outfit, I did keep it as being kind of a short dress and stuff like that, but I tried to make it look more modernized, I suppose you could say. Not quite sure how to word it. I just wanted it to look a little bit more like it fit the aesthetic it was going for. Kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I'm forgetting the word. But anyway, so I just wanted to fit this hairstyle a little bit more. So her hair color was a bit of an interesting challenge. What I ended up going with was that she originally had black hair, so we can keep in that dark black color. So that's at her roots of her hair, so you can see that it's dyed. And then the green is dyed, and then it's dyed to have some dark green at the very tips of it, which is a bit complicated, but you know what? Characters can do whatever they want. For the red, I made it less dark red, and I made it a bit more of a brighter red. So she does look kind of Christmassy in a weird way. And then just to make the dress a little bit more unique, I did add in the black again to like the straps and stuff like that, just so there's some resemblance to the old design. But then I did add a little bit more variation with the actual red. So this one was definitely an interesting challenge, but I did what I could to try and keep the general integrity and feel of the original design that there was. So this last one was given to me by Baby Time You. And it was interesting. I kind of caught my eye because it was the only cat I got. Now, something I like to do with a lot of old cat, because I used to be a big Warriors person, so I've actually redesigned some of my own Warriors characters in the past, and something I do like to do is try and take kind of impossible designs but translate them to real cat genetics, because I know a stupid amount about cat genetics. Like it's kind of ridiculous. So when I saw this one, I thought it would be a very fun challenge, is to turn this very, very bright cyan cat into something that made a little bit more sense. So I took a lot more creative liberties when it came to the colors of this character, but what I wanted to try and keep it looking blue in terms of a cat, and also keep a lot of the white that was still there. So the first step was just making the actual general thing for the cat, and that wasn't too difficult. Had a lot of fun with it. I do actually like drawing animals every now and again. I honestly like drawing anything. I am definitely a bit more of an experimental person. I love when people give me random things I don't usually draw in terms of requests and commissions and stuff like that. So the first thing I thought of was, how could I keep that sort of blue gradient that went on the tail? So I made her, oh god, which one? I made her either, I believe, a blue lynx or a blue Siamese. I can't remember. But there's the cat markings that are like indicative of like Siamese cats and stuff like that. It's that kind of markings. So I decided to incorporate that in there, only it's the gray variation, which is also called quote unquote blue. So it's kind of a bluish gray, and I made it where it would fade into lighter and then darker to keep that sort of fade that was in the original design. For the white, I kind of gave them some white patches throughout the picture, but I also gave them a little bit of like vitiligo to keep the spotting in there and that kind of thing. And other than that, it was easy to keep kind of the eye color in there, keep it blue and stuff like that. The only thing I couldn't get in there was the pink ear. I wasn't sure how to get it in there in a way that would make sense with what I was trying to accomplish, so that kind of had to be retconned in a sense. But I do think it looks really pretty. I think she still looks blue, but in a way that is more realistic to a cat. So like I said with all these, I had so much fun with these, and thank you to everyone who sacrificed your really old characters and designs for me to play around with. It was a lot of fun, and I might do these again in the future. That's a big might, because right now I have a lot of other things I'm working on, stuff for Patreon, commissions, all that sort of stuff. So maybe in the future, but don't hold your breath and don't get too excited because I'm not quite sure at this current moment. But I had so much fun. I had a great variety to work with, and I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. But before I go, there's one thing you know I gotta do, and that's those spicy Patreon shoutouts. Hello, yes. May I have everyone's attention, please? Yes. I would just like to take a minute from this dinner that we're having, apparently with strictly soda cans, to give a toast to a few people who, for some reason, give me money every month. I'm not exactly sure why yet, but I would like to honor them here at this bizarre internet feast we are having. So first, I must give a shout out to the $2 tier plus patron, the only one. I love them too, and I want to mention them here tonight. Oh, but yes, I would also personally like the $5 tier plus patrons to stand up so I may give them high fives. High five to you, Isabella GD. High five to you, Gunmoon. Oh, high five to you, Shadowcat Inc. As well as you, Mick. And you, StarMed. Don't think I forgot about you. Oh, yes, but I would also like to give a big toast to the $10 tier plus patrons whose power levels are over $9. Pythonus, Cynical Sagittarius, Nena Sprinkles, Twisted Disaster, Lorinth, Jago, Fema, Petty Prince, Angel of Darkness, Miss Mercutio, and Skyak2. A toast to you all, and thank you for coming to this bizarre internet feast I set up exactly for this 1-minute skit, and I will see you all in the next video, whatever it may be. Zodiac out.